Good morning. I'm going to talk about how I, an ENFJ, views the ESTP. And I just have to say, it's probably not a coincidence, like subconsciously, that I feel like I've looked the most attractive so far in my videos in the ISTP and the ESTP videos. Not intentional, but probably some sort of weird coincidence because I really just want STPs to give me attention and love me. So yeah, disclaimer there. I'm gonna try and make this video short because I have to get to work, but I wanted to make sure that I had time to do it today. Disclaimer, I'm an ENFJ. I'm not speaking for all ENFJs. Don't stereotype based on type. I'm just speaking from my personal experience and sharing some of the trends and observations that I've had about this type. So the first thing I want to say that I think is probably the funniest thing to me about ESTPs is how, actually before I say that, I want to just say that I might have said in the INFJ video how I feel like they're very similar to me as an ENFJ, but I would say if you were to judge every type based on just observing their behavior, and if you were to take every type, let's say you were to have a control for their interests and their values, ENFJ and ESTP would look pretty dang similar. The reason why, the easiest way to really tell them apart is the fact that ENFJs tend to like humanitarian causes and art and creativity and things like that, whereas ESTPs tend to like business and sports and, like I said, don't stereotype, these are just sort of the stereotypical things here, but let's say you got an ENFJ and an ESTP that were both super interested in nutrition. They would look pretty similar, and the way that they would express themselves would be pretty similar. And so I've found that out of any other type, if you were to control for that, the ENFJ and the ESTP look the same. If you're observing how they talk and those things. Something I noticed, okay, here's some things that ESTPs say all the time. They say, well, the reality is, they always say that. And they also say, what is it? Gosh. To be fair, or they say the truth is, or gosh, I can't remember. Maybe that's gonna be, and they always go so, and I don't even know, there's this one phrase that I can't even remember what it was that I was saying to my ENFP friend. She was like, that's the most beta thing I've ever heard. And by beta in socionics, that means NFJ and STPs. But okay, the annoying thing about ESTPs, one annoying thing that they do is their NI is at the bottom of the stack. So they will sometimes come up with things that they think are mind-blowing that aren't. They'll be like, if you treat people the way that they want to be treated, then your business will be more successful. Oh my God. I thought of that. Or they're I don't know, some of the most basic intuitive concepts, they think that they're being so deep whenever they come up with it, which is really funny. But okay, so to sort of drag on ESTPs for a sec, what's really annoying about them is how they sort of steamroll over people while they're talking, and LOL, I'm an ENFJ, maybe I do that too. But I think that sometimes the concept of trigger warning is probably completely lost on them because they don't understand triggers. They don't understand why someone would be reacting to something that had nothing to do with them. They don't understand how you can spur an emotion in someone and have it not be personal. And to explain that, if any ESTPs or even ENTPs for that matter are like, what the hell is she talking about? What I mean is, like, if an ESTP says a mildly sexist thing like, oh, like, if I was talking to another female coworker about something work related and it was called girl talk by an ESTP, I would be kind of pissed, not at them per se, but just because that was another sign of the patriarchy, and it would make me feel invalidated. And that's just a really small example, but like, ESTPs, I think, tend to think that, oh, well, I didn't mean anything by it, and like, if they didn't mean anything by it, then like, they're good, they think. Whereas I feel like ENTPs kind of enjoy being a troll and like kind of enjoy being argumentative. I don't think that ESTPs recognize this in themselves as much because they aren't as self-aware. And honestly, the whole awareness of the emotions thing can be really terrible in an ESTP. Like, I feel like they are able to lie to themselves a lot. I think ISTPs can kind of do this too, but ESTPs, they can like tell themselves that they are in love with the person that they actually aren't, and they can be like having feelings for somebody that they have completely hidden and they don't realize that they're expressing. And it is possible for an ESTP to have feelings for someone, not know it, and be playing games with them subconsciously by their own confusion over their own feelings will cause them to be back and forth with that person, and I don't even think they realize that they're doing it. Like, they just are so removed from their feelings and making logical decisions that they can be completely playing with someone not even to their knowledge. They think, oh, I don't know, just some days I feel like saying hi to you, sometimes I feel like ignoring you. I don't know, I just do what I feel. Like, why are you getting emotional about it? Not gonna say this is a personal experience or anything, but it's really annoying because, and I think I said, something I said about ISTPs is that I can always read what they're feeling, but I can't necessarily know what they're intending. And the thing that's difficult for me to understand them is that they don't act based off of what they desire. They act based off of what they intend, that they think makes the most sense, that they think will make them the most happy. And they tend to, even though a lot of them like to view themselves as like risk takers and adventure seekers or whatever, they kind of seek comfort a little bit too. Like, I think that they're kind of afraid to like desire something that may or may not work out. Like, as far as emotion is involved, they aren't like risky in terms of their desire. I had an ESTP friend that was talking to me about how, like, if he found a girl like super attractive, that he would like find reasons to not like her and like not text her back and like do weird things like that because he felt like it was already decided that it was never going to be. And so that was really confusing for me, and I think that they do that with a lot of their desires. Like, if they wanted to be in a certain career path and didn't feel like it was meant for them, like, they can sort of self-sabotage, which doesn't really make sense to me, because I guess I think, like, if there is a possibility at all for you to get what you want, you might as well put your cards out there. Even if you think it's a long shot, you might as well be in the position where if a miracle were to happen, you at least are in the position. Like, for example, if you find someone attractive, you think that they're out of your league, don't treat them like shit. Don't ignore them. Like, you don't have to make any moves if you're too scared, but like, don't ruin it. And I don't know, like, I think that ESTPs can be very self-conscious, and they respond with confidence because they don't want anyone to know or anyone to ask about their feelings. And they'll be like, I'm the shit. And they'll like, especially ESTP girls will like take selfies and be like really bold, like, check out my high cheekbone in this or something. But like, they do that when they're sad. Like, I know, because like I'm an ENFJ, and like I feel like I understand the way they express their emotions. I had a ESTP friend all through high school and college, and we would kind of be frenemies at times, because sometimes I think she would be like jealous of me, and like sometimes not, and she could be kind of catty. But how I talked in the ESFP video about how like they like me at first, but then they might make little like salty statements. I don't think ESTPs really make salty statements, but they'll be catty, like invite everyone to hang out but you, or like do something like that. Or they'll like sort of gossip and be like, did you see Megan's Facebook post? That was like a little bit too much and pretty emotional, don't you think? But like not tell me. But also the same friend, like, I find that they really have a hard time looking within at their emotions. Like, she was going through depression, and she's just like, everyone's telling me that I need to write in a journal, but like I literally can't. Like, I look at the journal and I literally have nothing to say. Like, who am I talking to? This makes no sense. And I so relate to that, because even though I'm this sort of person that like is obsessed with self-improvement and happiness, and I like gratefulness journals and just journals in general, gosh, this is such a glare. It took me a bit to like even get the confidence to do that, because it seemed dumb to me. Like, when you have strong SE and TI, you're always like, what is this for? Like, what's the point? Like, I don't get it. Like, how's this gonna help me right now? They have a hard time seeing like the long-term benefits that something can bring. This same friend too, like, she got in a car wreck once, and so she has hip issues, and so she's supposed to be stretching them or like doing yoga or whatever. And she was saying like she literally can't unless she's being held accountable somehow. Like, if she is going to a yoga class, she'll do yoga, but she literally cannot get herself to do it alone. And I feel like I have a similar problem in that way. It's sort of like this motivation of like, I should do this, but like with strong SE and TI, it's like, how's this gonna help me right now? And if you can't come up with a good reason, then it's like kind of hard to do. Another thing about ESTPs is that I think whenever I ask them why, they get really annoyed, because I think that I triggered the reality that they don't know why, and that they're just doing something. But maybe in their head they think, God, it's so annoying. Why does she always know why? Why does she always need to know why? But I think that it also just reminds them of how shallow their NI is, that they sometimes do things without knowing why. And I don't know, you tell me, like, if maybe that's annoying that I want to know why. But they seem to just do things without thinking a lot. But I really appreciate the blunt directness, and I don't think I can really get this from any other type. I really appreciate cutting to the chase and just being honest. Like, but something that does happen with ESTPs is that I don't think that they realize how much I appreciate their bluntness and their directness, and they feel like they have to sugarcoat things around me because they consider me an emotional person and they don't want to hurt me. But I don't know if they realize that, like, they could never possibly hurt my feelings if they were being direct. The only time that they hurt my feelings is whenever they're being wishy-washy and whenever they are playing games or like being kind of shady. Like, that's what pisses me off. And sometimes I think that they would rather be shady than tell me the truth because they don't want to hurt me. And that's fine. And I think that they tend to think the truth hurts. But they'll like say things, they'll be like, the truth hurts, whatever. But I think that they sort of get me wrong, and sometimes, well, I've noticed that P's in general think everyone is a P, and J's in general think everyone is a J, and like TPs sometimes think that I'm reacting like a FP when I'm not. Like, I don't actually have those deep feelings that you need to be careful about. I will just be expressive. It's different. Like, not that you don't have to be careful about hurting an FJ, but FJs have more of a, we seem more reactive, but as far as our sensitivity goes, if someone tells us the truth, we aren't going to, I think we have more of a backbone when people tell us the truth. Where I think NFPs and other FP types might want to avoid, I don't know if it's fair to say the truth, but let's say like an ESTP, if they were to be like, honestly, I haven't been talking to you because you've been a little bit too much lately and you've been kind of getting on my nerves. Like, if they were to say that, I would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, I might be sort of like, that's fucking dumb of them, like, they should have just told me. But like, I might react emotionally because I might think, how come people don't just tell me when they feel these things? Why do they think that a lot of my emotions come from being like, why do they think that I'm such weak sauce that I can't handle the truth? Like, why do they not just tell me? Like, it's really insulting and disrespectful when people don't just tell me. But that's where the emotion and the reaction comes from me. And this is kind of probably true for all TPs. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, you are entitled to your opinion and your feelings. I'm not going to be all like, what? You think I'm too much? I'm going to be like, oh, I wish that you would have just told me. How dare you think that I'm weak sauce? How dare you hide the truth from me? Anyway, this is kind of getting a rant, and I've got to get going. But ESTPs overall, you guys gotta just be honest with yourselves. Like, you're honest with everyone else. Why can't you be honest with yourself? Like, what do you really want? What do you really desire? And what is in the way of that? And a lot of times it's you putting your own obstacles in the way of that. And like, desire doesn't have to be scary. I think that's the biggest thing that holds the ESTP back, is that their own desire is scary to them. But you deserve it. I mean, you just have to. One thing I'll say though, some empathy that I have for an ESTP is that it must be pretty scary to feel like you just go all the time, with like feeling like you're just moment before you even have time to process what's happening or understand what's happening. And I think a lot of them sometimes have moments where they pause and they're like, whoa, this is life. I'm insert age here. What the hell? And so I have empathy for that, and just try and give yourself some moment of silence every once in a while. I know you're thinking like, I've tried meditating and my brain won't shut off. It doesn't work for me. That's fine. But I think that if you are a person like that, then you need meditation and you need silence, or you need mindfulness more than you think. Because I'm telling you, I feel the same, like, in my brain. I just feel like I have more of a drive to make myself do it. I don't know if this makes sense, but thanks for listening. I love you, ESTPs. Have an excellent day.